I had
training
never
that enables
done
that comparison
any Sanskrit,
amongst
so
the faculty of
I've been
Oriental
studying
Studies.
Sanskrit.
So by combining theology and Oriental studies, I hope we're giving students the capacity to study religions in the languages that texts were written in the first instance. Theology and Oriental Studies requires a student to select one religion to focus on in depth. And the way that that focus happens is through study of the language. But that's not the only way. The study of the language then grounds further study of that religion.
Almost all the Oriental Studies that we have to offer in the course is kind of to do with religion. So it's kind of Oriental Studies through the eyes of theology. So I would say it's actually a very cohesive course.
It really is designed so that students can choose which papers in each faculty they want to focus on.
It can be almost like a philosophy degree in some ways, as in you can study much more philosophical aspects. It can be like a literature degree, and you can study like the Greek and the Hebrew, and you can study the texts a lot.
We basically study the classic 5 world religions: Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, and in Theology and Oriental Studies, it's Eastern Christianity. So each of those religions would require linguistic expertise in a different area.
I had never done any Sanskrit, so I've been studying Sanskrit from the beginning of my second year, and it's been pretty hard, I admit, but it's really interesting, and I've really enjoyed it.
A student will study language intensively for 2 of those 3 years.
I do 1 essay a week these days, and I do language work for 5 hours a week, 5 hours of lessons a week.
My own perspective is that it doesn't matter whether you've studied religion or not. If you're interested in questions of culture, and you're interested in questions of history, and you're interested in questions of text, and you're interested in questions of interpretation, studying religion could be a really interesting way to combine those fields. If you're interested in studying language in addition, Theology and Oriental Studies could be a really great course.
You will never find a better set of libraries than in Oxford. Like every single book virtually that I've ever needed has been found in one of the Oxford libraries, and it's amazing. I mean, almost nowhere else in the world has as many books as Oxford does. In most courses around the country, I think there'd be a lot more lectures and a lot more group seminars. However, in Oxford, it's very much based on tutorials.
Access to tutors is a remarkable thing. Oxford is justifiably proud of that. Students really can knock on the door of people who are specialists in their field. And being part of a course that involves 2 faculties, you have twice the number of people who you're working with very closely and very intensely, and who take a very clear, devoted interest in you. And that kind of attention is a rare thing.
So you'd have a couple of tutorials a week, which is the tutor and you and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And it really enables you to have a kind of a quite interesting discussion on whatever topic you're talking. And you have to get very involved with that. And I think that is one very big advantage, because it means you can't sit back and let other people do the work. You have to really get involved yourself. It's enabling me to analyse arguments. I would say that is the fundamental thing it's given me, because I mean it's the same in a lot of degrees really. What I'm asked to do in my essays is to analyse a particular argument. In my case it's probably to do with a religion or to do with a particular philosophy of ethics or something like that, and I think it's kind of analysing that argument and being very independent pulling apart ideas and thinking about what I personally think about it.
It's amazing the kind of personal attention students get here. And the only danger is that they may expect it for the rest of their lives. I look for a willingness to engage with questions of comparison. What makes religions religious? What makes them the same or what makes them different? So that inquiring or interrogative quality is something I look for when I admit students into any course.
I had never studied any religion or theology before, but I had always been interested in it. I was always reading philosophy books.
You don't need to have a background in the particular language you want to study in order to apply or in order to be admitted to the course. An interest in language, a capacity for language, is what's needed. As far as interviews go, I know it's nerve-wracking, but I think being willing to engage with the questions on your feet and being willing to put yourself out there rather than wondering what the right answer is, thinking for yourself, is always going to go a long way.
And don't come up with kind of answers, like sentences that you thought about a few days ago. Think about it as you're sitting there and really start to construct ideas, because that's what they're looking to see. Not that you know things, but that you're able to think in a creative way.
You have to know that you want to study language. So whether it's a summer course or even a little side reading, how to teach yourself, or a capacity in math or a capacity in music, you know, all of those kinds of indicators that you think well linguistically would probably go a long way. It's definitely not a course to apply for if you didn't have fun in your French class.
Above all, be interested in something and read books on your own to do with that particular subject. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for independent interest. And so when you come along to the interview and they start talking to you, it will be revealed that you have a particular interest in certain things.
I would like as many kinds of people, as many kinds of students to apply as possible. I don't think there's any one kind of suitable student, right? This is an open, expansive university where I think students from all backgrounds can work well and learn a lot. Students who come out of Oxford with a degree in theology and Oriental studies are able to speak to those very public discussions, very prevalent discussions, with real knowledge.
I'm considering possibly going into the field of psychology, which is totally different, obviously, from theology and Oriental studies. Or my other thought is that I would do a master's or something in ancient languages. Yeah, I would just say I think it's a great course. I think it fits together very well, and I definitely encourage people to do it.